Boobity, boobity, boop.
I like that you sent me a message at 6:35, like, try to get here as soon as you can. I'm like, I mean, I'm on the path. I'm a very, like, if I'm on the path to go to work, whatever, I hate in the last, like, 2 hours before I gotta be getting interrupted with my hand. Like, no. My dad, can you stop on the way to work? I'm like, I can't. I'm on the path I'm on. I don't like going into work stressed out.
I'm on the path at that time. Thou on the path that thou on.
I don't want to turn into a dairy.
Well, cheers, queers. It's From Behind the Barcast, the podcast for bartending, service industry, and drinking in general. We got Clint Moses over here. I'm Paxton, and back on the ones and twos, Mr. Jeff. Interesting side note, Landro.
Hello.
How we doing, guys? Thanks for tuning in this week and listening. It's been a heck of a past couple weeks. I'm not going to say that I missed you guys, but it's been a while since we recorded because we had to do some batch recording.
I saw you yesterday. It was like,
I can't miss Clint because he was behind the bar.
I had to. We'll get into that on the Patreon.
We'll get into that on the Patreon. It is episode 81. It is August something.
It is August something.
And this week we're brought to you by They Pee. It's basically a she-pee, but for pronouns.
What the fuck?
They paid us a lot. I stole that joke from Clint. That's
damn! And like right off the rip.
Call me
Carlos Mencia Schumer III.
Paxton Schumer.
Paxton Mencia.
Shout out to our patrons. You make the show run. Thank you guys so much. Yes. We got a new patron, Pat Hendo.
Pat Hendo, yes.
Good
and did we have Caitlin last week? Caitlin's a new patron.
Yeah.
And at the second half, we'll have a laugh track guy here, my buddy I went to high school with, Josh Jurgensen.
We have a patron.
Who's a Patreon subscriber who, I said if you up your Patreon to $20, you can come on the podcast. So,
so he's going to come sit in with us. That's
it's nice because, like, you know, we don't have too many Patreons here, but, you know.
But it's not, I mean, we just want to show appreciation.
Because it's, you know, we're just industry stuff, and he's in no way in the industry. He does graphic design.
Oh, well, that's dope,
the
though.
Department of Defense.
Speaking of graphic design, do you like our sick logo? That's the tap head with From Behind the Barcast on it. Well, that was made by David Smiley Art on Instagram.
Yes.
Go give him a follow. Also,
and we're going to get a new one coming soon from an artist.
Oh, no. Very
Interesting
nice.
side note, he did my my picture on Facebook as well.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He drew that in the bar when I was at Sandbar one night and presented it to me, and it was one of the best tips I got that evening.
I'll raise you an interesting side note. My profile picture on Twitter, you took in the rain at a 9 Inch Nails concert.
I surely did.
As I was crying to Hurt, as I do every time I hear it live.
Beautiful moment captured.
It was raining. I had been dancing and just going nuts for an hour and a half, 2 hours. And we're at the top of like a hill, right? And so I'm just sitting there, and I'm just like the steam coming off of me, and I'm looking like I'm just getting fighting somebody.
I think it's where Vinny demonstrated his soccer.
The soccer pee?
The soccer pee.
Yeah.
Where you just takes a knee
Take
on the hill.
Take a knee. Put it through the...
And it just ran down the hill where all the girls were rolling down.
Yeah, they rolled in his pee.
It was a
he took the picture, Pro took the picture through his beard because it was raining, so he had the camera like right there.
It was like
the beer filter.
Such an artist. Speaking of crying at concerts, I might have mentioned it on the podcast before, but the last time I cried at a concert, New Year's Eve, Humphreys McGee, and they played 46 and 2 by Tool, and I was waiting for it to get to the big Danny Carey drum part, and I was like, if he nails this, and then I was like, I'm sweating a lot, and I was like, no, these are tears.
What are these random salty things coming out of my eyes?
Tears of moleculed joy.
I'm sweating from my eyeballs.
Because of the host of substances I was on.
Happy birthday to Hannah, the Blue Chew Booty herself. Her birthday was last week. She had a girls' trip.
Happy birthday. I think it's Wink's mom's birthday, too. So.
Yeah, shout out to Wink's mom. Thanks for not being like Wink, who quit our Dynasty Football League after being in it 1 year. We had our draft yesterday at Chamaco's. I'll kind of run through it real quick. We had, AJ, me, Eric, Mike Hall, Don Ho, Vinny, Coach Watson just joined. And Coach Watson shows up. It's the first year, and it's complicated.
Shout out to Coach.
Yeah, shout out to Coach Watson. It's a salary cap. There's taxi squad. It's the most complicated fantasy league I've ever been in, but it's fun. We've been doing it for 9 years now. And so Coach shows up. He's a teacher, so he's prepared with 7 pieces of paper and a laptop. So he's all over the place. And then, like, when we get to like the
he's got
auction
a war
part,
room.
he pulls up a piece of paper, and I look over, and I'm like, "What is that?" It was every football player ever in a 2 font on one piece of paper, and I was like, "Why do you have all that?
Wow.
Like, do you need a magnifying glass?"
I was
going to
say, like,
he was holding it like this.
I don't wear glasses, but I can't read some of the credit card slips at work sometimes.
Yeah, and I was like, dude. I couldn't get it to work right. I was like, I can fix that for you.
That's some teacher shit, right?
But shout out to Mike Hall for hosting us at Chamaco's. We always do it at Huckapoos. We did it at Chamaco's this year. And the air conditioning. And
that was glorious.
Yeah, only one person complained. Eric Thomas.
Oh, he said it was
too cold here.
He said it was too
like,
cold.
Shut up. Put on some sleeves, bro.
Put on some sleeves.
Tighten that bandana, man.
Tighten that bandana.
Just to clear something up. So Justin was in last night. And he goes, "Hey, I want to listen to you guys' podcast, but I don't really want to pay for it." I was like, "You don't. You don't have to." He thought you had to be a patron.
Oh no!
So I set him up with the Spotify link on his phone. Just find us at From Behind the Barcast.
I have the QR
Spotify.
code like at the top of my pictures on my phone. I just point here, get it.
Also, so just to finish up all the promo stuff, 3 things. One, we're gonna use our Patreon funds now to start getting some merch. So our patrons will offer it to them at cost, and then
cost plus shipping, and that's all they'll have to pay.
Yeah.
Those that aren't patrons, you can join Patreon, $5 tier and up. You'll get it at cost.
That's at patreon.com/.
If you're at a $15 tier, shipping's on the house.
Hey, shipping on the house. I like it. And then 2 more quick shout outs before we get started in earnest. I met a guy, Adam, last night. He's from Savannah Morning News. He heard someone say my name and goes, "You Paxton from Behind the Barcast?" I was like, "Yeah." So they do one. Adam does one. It's called The Commute with at Savannah Opinion, and it's on all the adverts. And then Keith Rouse.
Yes,
he's a regular that came into Poos all the time. Like mostly kept to himself.
Is he a gay guy?
Okay.
No. There was a gay comedian.
Oh yeah, not him.
He kept trying to fuck.
So he is going to New York to audition to be a regular on Gotham, which is like huge comedy club.
Gotham is the biggest comedy club in New York.
So
that's the one thing I didn't do was go to any comedy club. We were just gonna go like hang out by one, and I was like, I realized that on the plane back. I was like, oh,
well, that's a great segue because Clint was just in New York. Real quick, Keith Rouse Jr. on Instagram.
Yeah, follow him.
So did you do anything interesting this past
week? I couldn't talk on Thursday and Friday. I was at work Friday with like the specials. I typed them out on the print them out. Was like, here's a special.
In a 2 font or a very large font?
In a very large font.
Where's
my handwriting might as well be a 2 font.
Where's my Gray's papaya dog that I requested?
I got to poop at the break, so
yeah, drop me one out.
So Vinny and I just looking forward to the trip. For 3 years. My best friend. We're gonna have a great time no matter what. Get the airport early, smooth in.
Even after the Big Mac breakup.
Yep, even after the Big Mac breakup. Thanks for bringing that back up. You cunt.
Too soon, bro. Too soon.
Yeah. I've still not passed all the Big Macs, I don't think. So walking in the airport, get to TSA, and the woman's like, "You need to get patted down because I have a bunch. I travel. There's 2 kinds of travelers. We'll get into that later."
She looked at you and immediately.
Vinny and I are 2 different people. I've got like
you got profiles.
I had like 8 mini bottles. I have everything ready though. Like everything's in a bag. The Cliff Bars, because Cliff Bars have foil, so they'll flag the thing. So I had everything nice and out for them. So they were happy about that. But she's like, "Look, you got to get searched." Got my Run the Jewels shirt on. TSA guy goes, "Killer Mike's the shit. Go ahead."
Oh!
No! And I'm like, this trip's gonna be great.
Not an RTJ hookup.
Very clippable too. Well done, sir.
Yes.
Well done. Oh, yeah, because when I go through any TSA, so I bought
do you
slip-on shoes.
Okay. Socks?
Socks, yes.
Socks?
Socks?
Do you wear socks to the airport? Well, you have to wear socks all the time.
Yeah.
If you ain't socking when you crocking, you ain't rocking.
Like I said, there's kind of people when you travel because my traveling companion
flip-flops,
barefoot. On the way back, I look down and I'm like, you're standing on a mask.
Poor form.
Oh, poor form. And you said he was flip-flop.
I'll get into more flip-flopping later on. There's a lot of flip-flopping going on. I have a lot of stuff. I'm going to do some stuff this week about my trip.
Yeah, because it would be.
I'm going to do the more self-deprecating stuff next week. I can't. Otherwise, I'll take up the whole podcast, even as fast as I talk. So we're on the way to New York. I realize I have forgotten some essential items. A handle for my Yeti to travel with. It's great. So you have to hold the whole thing. Use that little handle. I can hang it on my luggage or my bag.
Yeah, because they make them out of the paracord too. I think Wink's got one of those.
Yeah, they're great.
They're dope.
So I've bought like 8 of them and sold 6 of them on the beach. People are like, "Hey, where'd you get that?" I'm like, bought it from
my man's
friend.
flipping handles. Son.
Double the price.
We got to write a trap song about that shit. Flipping handles on the beach.
So I forgot that.
And
then I realized I forgot my elbow brace from when I got tendonitis from chopping, and I knew at Rage Against the Machine and Run the Jewels I would be doing some similar sort of arm waving movement. So I was like, "Damn, I forgot my elbow brace." And I realized I left. So I have to. I got torn meniscus in my left knee, so I wear a knee brace when I do anything mildly athletic, walk, dog, work, whatever. I've got a work knee brace and like a walking the dog knee brace. It's a little tighter. I forgot walking the dog knee brace. So I'm like, you know what? Let me go ahead and get on Amazon right here and order these packages to the hotel.
Shut up.
Hey, there you go.
It wouldn't let me do same day delivery because I wasn't in New York already.
Yeah.
So I send them to the thing. Vinny is making fun of me for this. He's like, I can't believe you really are going to do this. I'm like, I need these 3 things.
It's the same as like ordering a pizza to your room. I mean, don't you want to eat, man?
And so package gets delivered. I walk downstairs 40 minutes later. And I'm like, hey, I'm here to get package. He's like, oh, yeah, I just saw it come in just right now. It's behind the counter. And the foreign guy behind the desk is like, nah. He got there the next morning, but he's like, I don't know. What's your room number? I'm like, I didn't have my room number in there because I ordered it before I got here. So I didn't know my room number.
Didn't have a room
What's your room number? I'm like, I'm also not on the room. My brother is. It's Vinny King. I'm his brother Clint. And the guy's like, what is your room number? I'm like, it's inconsequential to the situation. My room number's not going to be on the package. He's like, room number? I'm like, it's not on the package.
Yeah, now you're just being obtuse, though. Just give him the number.
I did. I told him the number, but I was like, it doesn't matter. And he just,
that's not the fight you need to fight right now.
He doesn't say anything to me. He just walks to the back. He goes and gets the manager. And she comes out, sweet lady. And she immediately goes, oh, yeah, we don't need your room number. Let's go get it from the back for you. You know what? And I'll have him bring it up to your room.
Oh, God. So you were inadvertently a Karen. You got the manager without asking for it.
I didn't want the manager. I just wanted my package. But, like, I had to get my package. And the guy was like, I need to know where you live, grew up, what's your mom's maiden name.
You want your package? What's your social?
Yeah. And like, I understand hotel check-ins. Like, when we got there, there's a kiosk check-in with 2 people in line. And then the line to the desk wrapped around the corner to the back. There's a lot of, foreign travelers in New York.
Yeah.
And so I got in line. 2 people left the desk, and then he walked over and goes, let's go. I'm like, yes, thank you for having
where did you were in Manhattan?
We were in Times Square, like a half a block away from Times Square at the Hotel Edison.
Okay.
A very old hotel. They had, like, phones that I don't think it had plugs in, like the 2-piece phone.
Yeah. The one that I stayed in Times Square back in, like, 2007 or 8, whatever.
$460 2 nights.
It was super cheap, but we got there, and the sign outside said, you wanted in Times Square and cheap? I'm like, this is going to be a great experience.
Do they have massages? They have massages in there too?
Times Square
and cheap.
There you go.
So
a bagel
it was like a tenement, but we were looking at Madame Tussauds out the window. So.
Yeah. So Monday evening we goal 1, acquire marijuana. It's decriminalized, so it's weird. So I'm looking up weed shops on the way, and like some of them have sketchy reviews, like it might be CBD. So we go to the one place with the best reviews. We get in line.
So they have brick and mortars, even though it's
on the. There was like 4 of them in the area.
Was it like bodega?
No, there was just
just a shop.
One of them had like a lounge upstairs you could go smoke in.
You yelped head shops?
Yeah.
Interesting.
So we go to this one that had like the best reviews. We're standing in line, and there's a guy. I got my Braves hat on. This guy was like, "Hey," and he had a Met shirt on. I'm like, "I need you to stand 5.5 games behind me, please." It wasn't a good week to talk shit because the Braves lost all the games to the Mets. So people in line next to us go into the show that night. So we make friends and just talking to them. And the guy's like, "Look, I live in like Newark." He's like, "I come here to get my weed to this store specifically because they have good carts and real flour."
Nice.
So I'm trying to find pre-rolls because I don't want to deal with anything.
Sure.
And they have a grab bag, 7 joints, $60. And I'm like, what are they like? It's just 7 different joints. It's random.
Could be sativa, it could be
indica,
it could be a mix.
And so I'm like, well, yeah, we'll just gamble on this because I can always coffee myself back to energy if I drink or smoke too much indica. And so Vinny and I get high, and then we start deciding we can smell the joints and see which. Tell you what, 6 out of 7 were what we wanted the time we wanted it. But we weren't sure it was going to be sativa, so we went to go to the World Trade Center, which I'll get into kind of tomorrow.
You were wanting sativa?
Yeah, because I was going to go walking all day.
Yeah, a Rage concert,
We buy this, go to a different store because they didn't have any sativa pre-rolls at this one store. We go to the other store, bigger joint. And I'm like, oh, nice. And I was like, I want sativa. She goes, here it is. I'm like, what is it? She's like, it's sativa. I'm like, what kind of weed is it? I look it up. It's like Silver or something, Silver Hawk or some shit. No, it's not.
Silver Surfer.
It's a fucking goddamn CBD spliff. And not only is it not weed, it's a spliff. So it's tobacco and CBD. So
it
just made my mouth chalky.
That's what spliff is. It's when they mix.
Yeah, it's like half
tobacco,
half weed.
So I never knew that. I thought it was just a cone shape.
My knee felt better.
Yeah.
I didn't have any inflammation. Let me tell you that.
And we left the pen in the room. So whatever. Good time. I'll get into that rest of that day tomorrow. Let's get to the meat and potatoes of this thing.
Sure.
Pizza. No, I'll do food and other stuff tomorrow.
Don't miss that F that he said.
Got it. He got
All
it.
right.
Oh, I knocked it.
Okay,
Got it. I doxed myself the first time. So, go to the concert.
Rage Against the Machine
Rage
and
Against the Machine and Run the Jewels at Madison Square Garden. Live at the Garden.
Live. Did you just
Live
echo your own shit?
That's from Run the Jewels
Live,
song
live.
from Call Ticketron. Live at
Okay.
the Garden. God,
We do our own effects here.
Get
We
with
got
the
low
times,
budget.
bro.
Heard.
Get with the 90s, man.
Yeah. So, walk in. I'm repping the A because Killer Mike's on stage. So, I got my Braves hat. I got my A-Town down shirt
Nice.
on.
Yeah.
Here we go again. Walk up to security, and my man says, "Ooh, a Braves fan, come right on in and talk some shit to these Mets fans over here."
Ooh,
So I am now shit talking with security about the Braves and the Mets.
And if you have a problem, you'd be like, hey, security.
Yeah, well, 3 out of 4 of them were not on my side. But I was like, I wish I had been here last week to talk shit to y'all before we lost all those games. And they were like, oh, another great exchange. Right
The
on
best part about breaking balls is if you find someone that you can break balls with, that means you're their friend.
in. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
instantly.
especially with
Instantly.
sports. Because some
Yeah.
people you can break the hell out of their balls or not at all. There's very few gray area there.
Sure.
People, there's some sensitive topics, but
Yeah.
you don't you bring up deflated balls, Patriots fans or whatever. Like some people take it, but like there's kind of gray area there, whatever.
Yeah.
So go in. We're in the pits. There's a downstairs area, pretty much the bar for just that
Was
area.
it general admission? Like you walk in
Yeah,
and
it was there were seats. Special square seats. But the bottom part, the
I've
pit,
never been.
the pit was just GA. So
Okay,
so
gotcha.
you had to have a bracelet to get into the pit right in front of the stage.
Okay. Yeah.
We are 25 people from not even that, maybe 15 people from the stage.
Wow.
And
We were
you-
right there.
And you wanted to be
And
down
we wanted to be
there?
that close, yeah.
Okay.
So we go downstairs where I didn't meet the RZA. I was high as shit. Was like, let's just make up a story that we met the RZA down here. I was like, who could we have met? And Vinny's like, he named like a California rapper. And I'm like, what? No, it had to be a New York rapper. Anyways, so we get drinks. We don't realize this on the way in the first time. I have 2 16-ounce cups, 3/4 full of liquid in each. When you're at Run the Jewels, you know what you're doing? You're running the motherfucking Jewels. So
Yeah.
I drink half of each of them basically and spill the rest. We come back for Rage. There's this giant Mexican guy. He is probably the second biggest guy in the pit. He puts his arm around me and goes, "You like getting punched in the face?" And I'm like, I'm gonna hit this guy in the balls right now. I'm balling up my fist because I'm drinking my left hand. He goes, "If you don't, why don't you get the lid for that cup, bro?" And he shows me his cup. They have coffee cup style lids with a little thing.
That is genius.
Here's my problem. If you have those, when people are walking in the pit with a drink, have a stack. Take a
Yeah.
lid. Take a lid. Take a lid. Take a lid. Because old Flip Flopper got his feet a little dirty. Because Vinny King wears flip flops to Rage Against the Machine concerts. Who in the hell wears flip flops to the pit?
Number one, not only sanitarily, like your feet are going to be gross, but if someone steps on your foot or kicks your toenail back
Yeah.
in a pit.
And we're jumping up and down. I mean, we weren't in the mosh pit, but we're like right in the orchestra pit.
So
basically. We're in the orchestra pit.
You were saying you were pretty close, like 15 feet back, but the pit's probably behind you, right?
No, there was, so Vinny's like, "There's not going to be a mosh pit," and I'm like, "I
Are you-
guarantee
are
you're
you-
in Rage."
All right, Rage Against the Machine?
So during Run the Jewels, I get lucky. We're next to this guy. He and I know every word to every Run the Jewels song. He's about my size. This guy and I realized 3 songs in, I'm not going to be able to talk when I get home. Because he and I are just hitting everything there. We're having a blast. And like at the break, him and his buddy and I are hugging. Like, I'm so glad we were with each other. We had a,
I love
we
that,
had a
though.
non-drug hug moment.
Yeah, I
And,
love that, though.
Actually, they were on drugs. He offered me some Molly later. And I was like, no, thank you, stranger. But because his buddy had on Crocs that were like the toe Crocs though, like remember the Vibram shoes? The
Oh,
Vibram-
yeah.
It was like that.
Did Crocs make the ones that you
Yeah, it was some kind of like,
your little toes
and I was
in
like, what a lame pair of shoes to wear. And I got back from the concert. I was like, what a great idea. My feet are killing me. Not as bad as Vinny's. So, old sticky feet.
there? Vinny Sticky Feet.
So, Run the Jewels. I've seen him 3 times. This was probably the most dumbed down time. Unfortunately, Zach's got a broken left leg. Zach Little Rocher, the lead singer of Rage Against the Machine. So, there's 3 crossover songs. They couldn't do them.
Oh, that's unfortunate because you would expect.
Right.
So,
So they
you,
were doing them earlier in the tour. I
You
think.
educated me that Rage or Zach De La Roca and Run the Jewels have crossover songs.
They literally didn't even do one of the songs.
Really,
No, no.
so
It's
that's
one of their hits. They didn't do. It's one of their hit songs too.
so that's unfortunate. And so he broke his leg
So,
during the tour.
when they're doing the Run the Jewels song, I'm like, oh, the smoke's going up. I'm like, oh, here he comes. I'm getting me and this guy are like, ah,
Yeah,
'cause
yeah,
we know
yeah.
what's coming in every
Yeah,
part of every song.
sure.
And like, I'm like shaking Vinny. I'm like, ah, and then like, I get let down kind of. So
of course.
I hype myself up. So that's why I would say it was my 3rd favorite Run the Jewels concert. But it's the first time I've seen them as an opening act. But look, it was a blast. I had a great time. I just wanted, what was Zach? Have a great time. 25-minute break. Go pound a drink, get a drink. Made friends with the bartender the first time around, so we got right up there.
Did you even try and go out and smoke? Could you not come back?
No, there was no reentry.
No reentry. Gotcha.
But come back from Run the Jewels, people are smoking joints, cigarettes in the pit.
Oh wow. Okay.
No one, and the lights are up, and like there's so many people doing it. Security can't do anything about it because there's so Vinny just lights up. I'm like, I'm waiting for the lights to go down. He just smokes cigarettes, so as those lights go down, we're smoking cigarettes in the pit too. So it's because we're drinking, having a good time. And dude, they carried out Zach. 2 guys, 2 big ass dudes, carried him out, put him on a box in the front, next to another box he could lean on, and he just sat there and destroyed our lives. It was the best single show I think I've ever seen in my entire life.
Really, from a seated position.
From a seated position. At one point, this dude he's getting into it. Stage guy comes over and is like, "Yo,
calm down.
Your leg's broken, bro."
Yeah.
Because he's like, he's just,
how could you not
chanting? It was just.
And
boom,
this is probably their first tour in a long time, right?
Like 10 years or something.
Yeah, so of course, and especially you're at
Madison Square Garden. And this was, so they were supposed to just do 2 nights originally, and this was going to be the last night. But then they added 2 nights, so this was on Tuesday. We had Wednesday off, and then Thursday, Friday. So I'm like, well, they have Wednesday off. They got to go out, go hard tonight. And it was, just beautiful, the lights, everything. And, you forget how deep their catalog is. So every single song. And they do Guess Tom Joe, the cover song.
Yeah.
But like it was just banger, banger, banger,
it was
banger,
like
banger
after banger.
Tom Morello getting it. String pops on his guitar, takes the guitar off, throws it off the stage, haphazardly to the side.
To the abyss.
Hands up, guitar lands in his hands. Guy on the side, well, I guess this must just happen a lot. Catches it, string, riffs right in, comes right back in the song, perfect. I lose my shit. I'm like, Vinny and I are like hugging and grabbing each other. And like some people
that's a sight to behold.
Don't appreciate music.
Pretty magical.
Didn't catch it, but I'm getting goosebumps thinking I'm sort of.
Oh, they didn't catch it because the
like some people
changeover was
watching
so quick. Yeah,
it was so fluky. He just riffs right in. I was like, this is so great.
Have you seen the Stevie Ray Vaughan clip where that happens?
No, but
so Stevie Ray breaks a string. He pops this part of the strap off.
Yeah,
he's still playing.
Yeah,
Rhodey comes in.
Oh, I have seen that.
Throws the strap over.
Beautiful.
Him.
Yeah.
Beautiful segue.
Gets him dressed. I mean, these guys. I mean, Morello.
Yeah.
You can see from we're 30 feet from him. Just the water.
And was it just the 4-piece, or did they have like any? Yeah.
And I mean, if I had been blind, I would have never believed you. This guy had a broken leg and was sitting down.
And that he was sitting down
because his energy. He's got such a powerful voice. But
and like anytime I've seen him perform without a broken leg, it's very emotive. And
And I've been watching clips of their concert up to this. This was their biggest.
So he broke his leg on this tour.
Yeah, way early on. So
was it during a show or?
I think so. Yeah.
Or like mountain biking with the bass player.
I think he was mountain biking with Joe Biden. Joe Brandon, sorry.
Joe Brandon.
So before Rage starts, though, and back up a little bit, we leave, we come back. I don't want to be next to the other 2 guys again because I've already had enough fun with y'all, and he had already offered me drugs, and I was like, whatever. And Mexican guy was all weird. So when we came back, I'm like, text me, I'm like, I want to get rid of the Mexican guy, which he moved into what became the mosh pit in 1 minute. Rage against the
Rage
Machine.
starting, yeah.
1. And I was like, told you.
What did they open with? Do you remember?
I actually pulled that up right here.
No, don't worry.
But so
I'm gonna say Down Rodeo.
No, that was the second song. But
look at me.
Yeah, because I found the Rage Whisperer. I'm the Rage Whisperer. You're gonna have to be the Rage Whisperer on this Patreon.
While he's looking that up, did you ever see the Prince where he flicks the guitar up?
Into
the air.
Guitar Gently Weeps.
Yeah, and my
That's
Guitar
the one
Gently
with
Weeps.
Prince, Petty,
Eric
Clapton, and
Julian Lennon, John Lennon's
son. And Prince goes last.
At the end, he just goes whoop
and just walks away. He didn't care where that thing landed.
Yeah,
I wouldn't either.
Magical.
Yeah.
You're Prince.
It was like,
so
whoa.
Start off with PSA, public service announcement.
Okay.
So it's just like them talking, and then right into bomb track, and it's that's a banger to start a show. So
we named our studio after that, Bomb Track, downtown Savannah,
so
back in 2000.
People on the Sun, Bulls on Parade. That is 3 of their biggest tracks. I mean,
good Lord.
And so they do Bullet in the Head. I'm like, I can actually relax this for a second.
Did your intestines fall out of your large colon?
I'm like, they do the intro to Revolver, and I'm like, oh my God, how are they doing this? Because I'm up here, I'm dying down here, and I'm not playing instruments.
Yeah.
And so little break, testify, tire me, take the power back is like 10 minutes long. And we're chanting, and it's, I'm starting to already get hoarse. Guerrilla radio, Vietnam, know your enemy, calm like a bomb, sleep now in the fire.
Jesus.
They did 19 tracks. So they did the Ghost of Tom Joad.
Holy, how long was that?
Tracks.
Like 2 hours in?
Yeah, 2 hours. 2 hours. It was supposed to be 2 hours, or like an hour 50 was the last one. This was 2 hours and 12
Definitely
minutes.
got your money's worth.
They
on
went
that
longer
one.
than they'd gone in any single show.
I mean, you're at Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, and you're off the next day. So when they do Ghost of Tom Joad, though, they're just jamming at the end. Like they're so into it. They don't go to the next song. They just jam out for a few minutes with us.
Nice.
I mean, I look around
And
and
that's not a very
everybody
rage
in
thing.
this place is bananas.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody is going bananas. And so they do Killing in the Name to finish off. Because they're like, they fake you out.
Yeah.
We're going
The
down here. I'm like,
classic move.
we're missing that, And then that was 13 minutes long, maybe. I mean, they're just destroying it. And I'm like, you got to be, like, your hands have to be so wet.
Yeah.
So,
And
then,
Killing in the Name of, there's a section of that song where they could stretch that forever.
if either one of you can guess what song they finished with, I'll suck your dick right here. It wasn't, I'll give you a clue,
Okay.
but I don't carry the balls with the clue.
Okay.
It's not their song.
Okay.
Bro really wants this blowjob.
Yeah.
Harper Valley PTA?
No, you're actually not far off.
Alice's Restaurant.
Don't worry, be happy.
Shut up. Shut up.
Swear to God.
Was it like,
No, they didn't play it. They were like, they were very political, so they had messages coming across the screen, people being killed erroneously by cops and stuff, and they were just playing that to like mock the fact that our country is in disarray.
Don't worry, just be
So
happy.
their encore.
Yeah. So I skipped over this part. So right before the show starts, after I go get my lids when I get punched in the face, there's a guy sitting in front of us, and he keeps looking at his phone, and we're talking to him, whatever. And I was like, you look a little nervous, man. He's like, yeah, my wife's about to go into labor. And I was like, what? He's like, yeah, but like, so we've been doing like labor preventing
Priorities.
exercises all day to kind of keep it away.
Priorities.
So they bought the tickets, like beat it, like the moment they went on sale for both of them to go. And then it was 2.5 years later, so she got knocked up during the pandemic. She got, they got bored. And we're boning. So
I bet that kid's name is Zach.
yeah, right? If it wasn't
Boy
going to
or
be,
girl.
it is now.
Yeah, boy or girl.
So
it's
I'm
Zach.
like, dude, if it happens, we'll get you out of here. And
Yeah, we'll make a hole
Mexican
for
guy's
you,
like,
yeah.
oh, I got this. I'm like, this guy just wants some trouble. So that's fine. Let him take care of it. So we're going to, we'll get you out of here. He stayed for the whole concert. And as soon as they, he was like, they're done. I'm like, they're done, go. And he just takes off. And I'm like, Vinny, we're also taking off. He's like, why? I'm like, because they're about to be a mad rush out of here. And we were ahead of the crowd, bathroom. And then we come out and it's, you'd have to go with the C.
That sounds like the coolest wife I've ever heard of. And
Yeah.
Definitely.
hopefully she's cool and he's just not like, shut up, bitch, I'm going to the Rage concert. Do those pregnancy prevention exercises.
I think the Mexican guy was pretty polite in the way he asked
So-
you.
so
if
that's
you were
what I was
a
gonna
fan.
say,
Like,
like,
shout out to the Mexican
he just
guy.
said it in a very dicky way, but I was like, now, look, by the end of the show, we're buddies.
I mean,
We're
if
Facebook-
you'd been slinging beer on me the whole show, I probably wouldn't have even asked you.
Yeah. Well,
That's a nice
Mosh
thing to do.
Pits starts minute in. It's going, and people are running. There's people that just go to shows to go to Mosh Pits pretty much. People are running in, and then every now and then, like a rookie runs in.
Oops.
He gets washing machined right out.
Yeah.
Were they
So there was people that this guy came up. He was, beast, 5'7", 225 pounds. Built like Mike Allstott, the running back.
so he's a muscular
Very muscular, but
Okay.
beefy guy. With a smoke show 9.5 girlfriend with heels on, and he's going towards the pit. I'm like, whoa, what is this guy about to do? He was one of those guys that wanted to stand on the side and push people back into the pit. So there's like
a Wrangler.
a Wrangler, yeah.
He's like the
Wrangler.
bumpers at
there is, like,
bowling.
5 or 6 guys on our side doing that.
Do you think there's like a segment of people
It's a
that are
whole
like,
thing.
There's a whole.
It's a whole
I looked
thing.
into this. There's
Yeah.
a whole thing of people that like to be in, people that like to pick people up, people that like to stay on the side. There's all kinds
to
of.
keep it
There's a
wrangle.
whole damn society of mosh
It
pitting.
is.
You know what?
When I
It's
was
a
a kid,
hi-
it was
it's a
just
hierarchy.
go in there and live.
But see, so I kind of get that because the hippie festivals that I go to, there are certain people that like to keep their
in their love pit.
yeah. They're like,
Dude, my tapestry pit.
there's tops and bottoms. You know what I mean?
Smack the razor out of your hand.
There's
if you wanna
Wookiees
get- shave your pits. No.
There's the ones that are handing
yeah, they don't
out
have
glow.
pits. They have shave your pits.
They're handing out glow sticks to everyone. They're like, "Hey, do you need water?" You know,
Yeah.
there's
Do you
like
need- do you
mamas and papas.
Everyone needs deodorant.
Yeah.
Everyone. They shave your pits and spray you down.
They're like, "Lift your arms." There we go. They rub you
you
down.
like a patchouli bath?
Yeah, right.
So
Spritz.
we're 12 songs in, we smoked a joint. You know, we're feeling it. We had our
A
drinks.
real joint or a CBD joint?
A real joint.
Okay.
We brought 2 real joints and the pen. I'm gonna be high this whole damn concert, and it kills me. So Vinny's got like a small book bag on, like was the size we could put stuff.
They
in
let you in with it?
Yeah, because Vinny didn't wear anything that required a belt the whole trip. Vinny was just on Tybee, but in New York. And like, look,
You can take
I love the man.
out of
Look,
Tabby, but you can't
he's
take the Tabby
comfortable,
out of Vinny.
and I can't hate on being comfortable.
Yeah.
But
There you go.
I'm
But
so.
flip flops in a pit is
Vinny was like, he went down the list of things he brought, and I was like, I'm not going over my list because I've got 2 bags packed.
there's not enough ink for my list. But
Yeah. So Captain Flip Flop goes, I need you to hold the bag. I'm like, what's up? He goes, I'm going in there.
Oh,
I'm like, you're going to the pit with your flip flops on? He's like, yeah. I was like, you gonna break your toes? He's like, I'll be fine. I'm like, you won't be, but you're a grown ass man. I'll carry you out of here.
Your decision.
Better you than me because you can't carry me out of here. So go for it. And the wall of meat in front of him is kind of like one of them looks back at him and like kind of just gives him a look like.
Did he glance at his feet?
No,
Like-
he did. He looked him up and down and was like, because Vinny would have been the smallest, the skinny person in there.
Not even about the flip flops, but Vinny is
Vinny's
skinny.
a tough dude, but he's
But
just
he's-
thin.
If you just look at him,
He's
he's
just sticking
wily.
legs.
he's
He's just
way
sticking legs.
he goes, "You're going in, all right."
He's
buddy.
looking up and down, and I was like, pfft. So
See you in 12 seconds.
about this time, mosh pit number 2 is forming over here. Clint is 40. Not wanting to do the mosh pit. There was nothing was going to happen where I was like, you know what I want to do? Get hurt. Because we got
I haven't
a lot
gotten injured yet.
We walked
That's what I'm
40 miles
missing.
while we were there. So, not to even consider what we did in the concert
Yeah.
itself. So I don't want to get hurt. And so I'm watching him, and I'm like, I'm prepared to kind of get him. But this one starts forming. He said, then he goes, I take a step forward, you take a step back. I'm like, I don't want to be in a mosh pit. But like people kept the barriers, and it was very like we saw somebody after the concert was like super friendly mosh pit. Everybody was great, polite, no problems at all. So, we rock out.
So you gave the mosh pit a good Yelp review.
there you go.
Yeah. So we walk outside.
The nosh
Shout out
pit.
to our friends that really enjoy car wash drive-throughs.
I know a guy.
You know a guy?
I know a guy who loves
Because
car wash
we walk
drive-thrus.
outside, and there is a guy selling nitrous tank on
Oh,
the
yeah.
damn corner.
Oh yeah,
damn decent.
A hood brother,
yeah.
selling nitrous balloons. Captain Flip Flops is like, let me get some cash. And I'm like, no, I've told you 3 times to go into an ATM when we were right next to a Bank of America. And he was like, I'll get it later. I'm not supporting your habit. You should have gotten money. And you do nitrous,
Yeah.
that's on you. I'm not paying for it for you.
Yeah.
You're just, and I don't want to be a part of this.
Yeah.
And
The
he's,
ni-
and the
the
guys, he's pumping these out as fast as he can get them out.
The nitrous mafia is the dirtiest mafia because I've.
But yours are like Wookiees and shit, right? They're
Sometimes
not-
no, they're never Wookiees. Any nitrous mafia that I've ran into at any show, and this is Asheville to Atlanta to New York to wherever, it's always like the grimiest, like meth head looking people, and they're like, step up, hurry up, $20.
This was like just a black dude in a polo. He was
Yeah,
a
yeah.
big guy.
I've
He looked like he looked like a bouncer,
yeah.
and he's just cranking out balloons. There's
But
a
you
long
walk
line.
in and you're like, there's no way someone would be having a
$10
tank.
a balloon is that
Yeah.
high?
That's about average. Yeah.
Or no, it was yeah, $10 a balloon. Or no,
Like
15, 3 for 30 or something.
I was gonna say like it's probably
It-
like 10
it was a
apiece, 3
deal.
for 20. Yeah.
So
Was
I'm
it
like,
just him by himself.
we're not doing this. I guess I was.
Nah,
I'm
he
trying
had,
to.
he had runners.
So there's people with balloons walking around. I guess they were either buying them from him and selling them at a higher price elsewhere. So I'm like, come on, I'm trying to just get Vinny away because I don't want to. Eventually, he's going to talk me into giving him the money.
Yeah.
And Justin's like reaches for his wallet. Oh, I didn't bring that up. My buddy Justin. Shout out Justin. Hold on, let me finish this story. Don't let me get sidetracked. So
I didn't think.
sorry, I know I'm doing it myself. I have to, duh.
That's a vain
I'm Clint.
effort.
You're right. It's a dying effort. So we're walking. We're about a block away. Here comes the nitrous tank, not with the owner. Some crackhead has stolen this man's tank and is hauling ass. Going. He looks like he just got $5 million. He is so excited. He's going.
Maybe if you steal a nitrous tank, don't draw attention to yourself
I
by
mean,
going.
and he has it like wrapped in a coat. I think he took his coat and like one. I don't know why you had a coat in August in New York,
Yeah.
but I guess he threw it on there, and it's easier to carry.
He's a pro thief.
He's a pro thief. And I'm like, let's get out the way because this guy's gonna come thundering through. And I guess it was close up to me. The guy was like, I'm out. And Vinny was like, well, you got that, turn the tank back in, refund. I'm like, you're telling me, here's the thing. You know this crackhead, right? Stole a nitrous tank, haul ass down the street. When he stopped, he didn't think about the fact that he was winded. He just went and just passed out immediately, probably. 'Cause your brain already needs oxygen. You're like, I'm going to give it nothing. It's
Nothing,
supposed to
yeah.
oxygen. So back to Justin. My boy Justin Eskowitz, shout out to him. Does not drink, does not smoke, was not doing partying. We talked about him maybe coming up, but he was like, I don't know if I'm going to do it. Monday, $125 tickets, like 12 rows back from where we pretty much, like, he's far away, but like.
Oh, so he found out you guys were going to the show.
Yeah, he knew we were going for a long time, but he didn't think he could get it off work. He ended up having to have dental work that day, so he was going to be off the next day anyway. So he was like, screw it.
Nice.
Finds a flight, gets a ticket in New York.
Oh, shout out.
We made him a pallet. I folded a rose for his pillow and stuff. But he got there, like, he got delayed a bunch because as New York does.
Yeah. So
he walks in, and I'm like, take a shit, we got to go. Like, whatever you got to do, we got to leave. Like, here's your to-go food, your Philly cheesesteak that I got for you. Like, we have to get out of here right now.
Yeah.
So he's there. We took a great picture, though. It's like, let's do a group photo. It's me and Vinny by the stage, and Vinny's just pointing to like a random part of the crowd.
Oh, because he's 100 rows behind you guys.
I sent it to him, and he's like, bruh. Bruh?
Not
period. Like, that period really sells.
You're like, hey, got you in the photo.
The bruh. But, man, I just loved this concert. I couldn't have had more fun.
Yeah, you could expect for Rage to bring it, especially.
But you know what, I was telling you last week on Mysterious Day we recorded, that I was like, I'm more for Run the Jewels, and I guess Zach took that personally.
He heard you.
He heard the podcast and was like, dude, I'm about to break your body.
It's from a seated position.
So how spent were you at the end of the concert? I mean, just
you know that concert high and high?
Yeah.
And then nitrous high?
Let me tell you how spent I was. We went and got dim sum.
Ooh.
And we had gone to an empanada place the night before and had an empanada called the Viagra. Clint is from the Tybee Island, Georgia. Does not eat frozen seafood. That's usually gross. Imitation crab meat, frozen shrimp with the shrimp sauce inside the empanada for $4.80.
Life hack.
So we went there on Monday night, and it was so good. We went back Tuesday. We had to take Justin to it. And so we got dim sum, go back to the hotel, get stoned, go get empanadas. And then at 3:30, I'm out eating a shawarma in Times Square where we saw a guy doing heroin yoga. He had a Grubhub bag.
Yeah,
that he'd either stolen the Grubhub bag or it was his last delivery because there was a bike with him. Everything was all like on the counter.
He's like, thank God I'm done.
On the table, and like next to him, his hips and legs are on the bench, and only his head is on the ground. He is completely bent over.
He's like a Great Dane sleeping on the couch.
It's just he like the needle's on the ground. There's another guy over there just screaming aimlessly because it's 3:30 at Times Square, And we're just filming the guy, and I'm like, he's breathing. We can keep going.
Down, needles on the ground.
And there's a cop like 85. There's cops there all night, and there was a bunch of kids hanging out. I'll get into all that next week, but I got a ton more. My fear of heights will come into play later.
And we'll on the second half, your Karen is from the.
My Karen is from the return trip. So, and there is a lot of Karen in this lady.
A lot of Karen.
And maybe I poked her, maybe I didn't.
Well,
Vinny asked if I was going to actually poke her, but we'll get to that later.
Stick around to the second half to see.
But yeah, if you get a chance to go, like, I'm considering going again. But like, I feel like the energy.
How much longer is their tour?
They keep adding stuff too. It's like a year pretty much. But Justin got his tickets for $125, which was anywhere in the room pretty much. Was $125. It was like maybe $85 up top.
That's great though, especially for New York.
And for last minute. But we looked at ours on the resale. You want to throw down the guess? $1,400.
Oh wow!
Just to be right up front.
You got yeah.
So, but I might go to Atlanta and see him. We'll see, and we'll see y'all after the break.
And welcome back to From Behind the Clint cast.
How you guys doing? Hey, I'm not making mistakes over here.
Hey,
sorry.
You know what I'm not doing? Hey, I just came back from New York. I got big things going on.
The video was like, you're built for this city. You're an asshole. You like to walk fast. You talk fast. And I was like, because he follows behind me. I'm pushing through crowds.
That is true. Like, walk fast. Hey, I'm walking.
I'm walking here. I'm walking
over here.
So I didn't say this, but Captain Flip Flop. Let me just finish this off real quick. We come back to the room. He stays outside smoking. I go upstairs, and I set him up in the bathroom. Beer, towel, soap. He walks in. You can hear it. And I was like, nope. Shower. He's like, no. I was like, nope. You're not walking past me. No matter what you do, you can't get past me. Go wash your feet. He's like, man. I was like, nope. Look in there right now. He's like, oh, okay, thanks. Then I had him all set up with the guava.
Even set up with the beer.
Do you want to guess what a liter of Tito's costs in New York City? In Times Square?
Let's see.
$50.
I would say $45.99.
Our guest, well, I don't want to say his real name. It's Bosch is here. You want to guess?
I just got.
It was $45.
That is genius.
It's $45, and they didn't have Finlandia.
So it's without going over. So I lost too.
Yeah, I mean, we made a bet at work last night, on Saturday night, when this guy would freak out because he always freaks out, and they were down a bartender. And so they all made their bets, and they're like, Clint was like, 731. And so I kept going over there and helping him. We all threw in $1. So I kept going and helping him so he wouldn't freak out.
Classic move.
For $4. And one girl was like, I'm cash apping you. I'm like, you're going to cash at me $1?
Well, welcome back
So
to welcome back to From Behind the Clint Cast. We have our friend Josh, patron and listener, sitting in on the session.
Yep, in town from somewhere north of here. We won't say where he's from.
No,
it rhymes with Baltimore.
Clint's so good at hiding names.
Man,
As good as
So
Vinny's wearing
I
shoes.
ordered this hat from a Facebook ad like 2 months ago. Forgot that I did it, and then it showed up. But I think it looks dope-ish.
Dope-ish.
The
A
only
little
thing
crooked.
is,
It's like somebody slapped him while he was making the hat.
well, this is the thing. It's a 10-gallon hat that they tried to shove into a 2-gallon box. So when it showed up, it was in bad
Oh, it looks like
state
my
of
flip-flops I got the
disrepair.
other day.
impression.
So the FedEx, huh?
No,
Because the
They didn't-
FedEx guy drop kicked my
they
reefer on my
didn't
porch.
kick it up to the door or anything. Well, actually, it was in my PO box, and
PO box.
191. If you want to send us anything,
We'll wear whatever you send us within reason. I'm not putting on a dress again.
But the thing is, not again. But the thing was, they moved it to one of the bigger boxes. So normally when things show up like this, it's because they try and cram it all into my.
So maybe they tried to cram it in
and-
there. And
yeah.
they were like,
And
it
they
won't,
gave
he
up.
couldn't spit on it to get it in there.
Maybe I can't even be mad at this rando Facebook company.
Yeah.
Maybe I should be
I'm
mad
pretty
at.
sure a random Facebook company guy had it tight because you don't want to send out a bad product when you have a limited usage of that. But yeah, send us stuff. We'll wear whatever. Speaking of dresses, I brought up our dynasty draft. The loser of the league is supposed to wear a dress to the draft the next year, but he quit because Winky's a bitch.
Yeah, but especially when it's hot, like I would like to wear a flowy dress.
I know that we
where-
made up that rule like
Sundress?
last.
Yeah.
We made that rule last year, and like Vinny was like, "Fine." I'm like, "God damn it, you wore a dress anyways."
I know it's like you can't make someone do something that they're not embarrassed about. It's like,
Yeah.
I don't give a shit.
I was like, "Can we find a dress for Coach Watson to wear? Does anyone have one that'll fit him?"
I mean, Fishman from Fish, he wears a dress every time he plays drums, and there's fans. I
His
should
name is
adopt.
Fishman.
Yeah.
With the PH.
No, just with enough.
What's off? That's off. I don't know a lot about fish, obviously.
All
I know as much about fish as you do about Star Wars.
I know Run the Jewels and Rage Against the
I'm
Machine.
gonna
So
shout out to Dame last night, who every time I talk to somebody for more than 45 seconds, would be like, "Stop talking about Star Wars and the Mandalorian." And I was like, "I'm talking about something else."
last night he walked up to me, he goes, "Cheers, queer." I was like,
Oh,
"Do you listen to the podcast?" He goes, "No, you just say it all the time." I was like, "Oh yeah, that is
I
right."
don't- he's not a podcaster. He's a gamer, but not a podcaster.
Well, especially you, all y'all were in
And
the
shout out to
back.
his mom, Joey. Joey's a sweet.
Joey's the best. All y'all were behind the bar one time last night.
I was back there for a purpose, which Patreon, you'll hear the purpose why I was behind the bar. So, but I watched you walk up and was like, "Hey guys, this is Grant back here." Like, you had to say that. I was like, "Everybody get out of here." Because
Normally I can just give the look, but I gave the look, and then Clint goes, "Oh, look at it! Look at his face. I've never seen him so upset. Didn't move or anything."
the next time you came back, I was like, "All right, guys, come on."
Faced.
Well, I think when there's a couple people take up more space than others, and I was like, okay, I'll usually get out of the way, but I had a purpose because know our brand. But I like slink into the corner some, and then to serve me right, I sat down on the cooler and cleaned off all the water for you. Like my whole right ass cheek was soaking
Those
wet.
coolers back there, they sweat like I do during the summer.
And shout out to my buddy Brian Herford, who was like, "Can you give me a shot of Deepay's lemonade chilled?" And I was like, "Sure." So I pour the bottle, he goes, "Hey, chill it," and it's like just a waterfall of Tom Morello sweat coming off, and I'm like,
It's already chill.
"Hey, buddy, it's already chilled."
Speaking of being hot out there at the bar, I only wore one
I know. I was so impressed.
shirt.
You and
all
Edo
night.
were on one shirt at like 10:30.
One shirt all night. That is a win for me because typically it's 5 to 6 shirts, and that's in a rotation where I put them out in the sun to let them dry
to
off.
melt, to dry off.
So you don't stick them in the freezer at all and walk
No,
in?
they don't
That's
dry
what I
out
said.
that way.
I don't
They're
want,
cold,
I mean,
you
but
put
it's
'em on.
nice. Oh yeah.
We
Yeah,
talked
but
about
when
this
you-
before. That I used to do that in Atlanta.
Yeah, but you put them back on. It's cold for 5 seconds, and now you got another wet shirt on.
I didn't bring that up when I used to live in Atlanta. We lived in. I stayed with my buddy Wes up there a bunch. We stayed in this apartment in Virginia Highlands. 2 window units, 4 rooms or 3 rooms. Yeah, 3 rooms in, I think. So Jason Lanier and I were just discovered one day. Wait a minute, we can put our clothes in the freezer and then put them on. They'll be cold. Well, everybody comes home and we're standing in the kitchen in our underwear. And they're like, "What are you two doing in here?" Because they were like, and like, I think Brian, my buddy Brian Sewell, goes, "You could just use 2 pair of clothes." I still, to this day, when it's super hot, underwear, socks, t-shirt in the freezer when I get in the shower. You get out because we're sweaty boys.
Okay, I got
Get
you,
out,
yeah.
put it on. You're like, ah.
Yeah, it feels good for a few seconds though, but like when you're at work,
So does jacking off. We still do that.
But
Here's the trick: you got to use black, and you got to use the quick dry, so it doesn't show the sweat all over you, but it stays nice and cool for a little bit.
Listen,
I know.
listen.
This man has done his own research.
Listen,
Okay,
man.
you done your research?
Every shirt that I wear to work, it doesn't necessarily show sweat, but there's still sweat.
You
there.
had on a burgundy.
I had a red
wine
shirt
color
on that would have shown sweat, but I was so confident.
It didn't show sweat, and
because I was his wedding.
When Merlot, I think I might have talked about it before, but I'm bringing it up again. When the Merlot industry died,
Drinking any goddamn Merlot
because of Sideways.
Yeah.
About 5 years ago, they were like, "Oh, we need to bring it back," with a hashtag #MerlotMe slogan on this wine-colored shirt.
Ooh.
You know what a wine-colored shirt does when you have a glass of Merlot? And like, I went to get one. All they had was larges, and I put that. Look, you put on a shirt that's not your size, it's a size down. I mean, just in the middle of winter.
Interesting side note: the hashtag is actually called an octothorpe.
An octothorpe? That sounds like a sex move.
It refers to the 8 points that go around. They claim that it comes from the English word for village. So you have like 8 little villages or 8 little farms around the village. So yeah,
nice.
There you go. Yeah.
I just say pound sign still.
Yeah, or pound you.
My mom lived in a gated community out here in Tybee, and to get in, you have to put a code in. You use the pound sign, the octothorpe first, and then the code.
Bring back Octothorpe. Hashtag bring back.
Hashtag bring back Octothorpe. Hashtag God. That could be it. And so somebody was calling me from the gate. They're like, I can't get in. I'm like, pound this, and they're like, I don't understand. I'm like, oh God damn. They were young. I was like, hashtag, and they're like, oh, gotcha. I'm like,
it's hashtag 1 2 3.
It's like when somebody goes, why do you have a physical copy of the save emblem for a computer when you have a disc? Because it's that scene, like a 3.5.
They're a floppy.
You ever heard someone say? I thought someone said to me at school, they're like, why do you have a physical copy of the save emblem? I'm like, you don't know.
Oh no,
yeah.
You don't know what that is.
They're like what is that? Is that paperclip?
I went back to college when I was like 27, so I'm like, I'm old. I felt so old.
Shout out Clippy.
Clippy's the man.
Clippy's not the man. Clippy be like, what you doing? You're like, I got this. And Clippy's like, all right, I'll be right back. He sits over here. You're like, you're not getting it. He's moving around. You're chasing him around.
Another interesting side note, when Josh came during the break, he met Fro for the first time. And he said, so up until this moment, I thought that Fro was Poe, Clint's other buddy. But Clint just didn't know how they pronounced it in Poe's mother tongue.
in Mandarin. Which is crazy because I'm such...
But actually it's Fra.
It's Fra. I'm so what's the word? An asshole about a dick about how things are pronounced because I say pho, not faux. And so I always correct people. And the fact that if I had done that for so long, like, that Pofro would have driven that home. But now you can be Frochi Lin for the rest of the podcast.
So right when Josh said, I was like, this is going to be great now. I was like, I gut laughed so hard.
We didn't bring it up on the first segment, but we're drinking, you guessed it, emergency and
vodka and emergency.
I had a bottle of champagne chilled for tonight. And it's chilling still.
It's chilling with the barbecue
sauce I left in the bag at Kroger.
Yeah, so you were coming out. I was like, what time are you actually getting out here? Because the earlier the better. You said
at 6:30. He's like, come on, let's get going.
I just got to go. I got to go by Walmart, and I got to go by Kroger, and then
I went by Walmart for you.
Yeah, to get
for all of us.
Yeah, for all of our health. For
I walk in Walmart. I come back. The guy goes, "Oh man, fastest trip ever." I'm like, "Hell yeah, I'm moving. I nope, shouldn't have done that.
You
leave Walmart. I'm like, I'm going to go around because you can go 2 ways to get to Kroger. I'm like, I'm going to go the longer way, but the faster way. I get behind the Kroger truck. No, man, damn semi.
They don't drive like them Amazon Prime trucks.
It's like the single. It's the single cab semi. Like, he don't sleep in that thing, so he's not real good at it. And so he's turning on the corner, and he stops, lets all the traffic go first. Then there's construction, and a Chinese guy spray painting a mailbox purple. I was sitting there long enough to watch. And then he turns down the main road, the next road, and Johnny Mercer, he's going 15 miles an hour. Oof. And he's scraping the branches, so I'm staying back. The guy behind me is up my ass, and I'm like, there's a truck. So he's got his right turn signal on still. So I get to Kroger, I'm like, I'm going to go around and get in the left turn lane. With his right turn signal, he proceeds to turn left. If we had not been coming here, if I had not been coming here, I would have just leaned into it. But that Honda, if it gets totaled, I'm not going to get the value of that car.
They'll give you $9 for it.
Now the Beamer, I might have a little tap there.
You can't trust a truck driver who doesn't have a sleeper cab because he's never gotten a lot lizard or anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Not a real truck driver.
No.
As shown by his right turn signal when he turned left.
Yeah. Maybe he's needed a hand job.
Ooh.
Maybe he did. Or maybe he was just a Darren.
Oh, shit. It's the Karen of the week. It's the Karen of the week.
Oh, shit. That was 2 great segues, man. Well done. Well done.
That
was, cheers on that.
Tink. So you don't really have
I don't really
Karen.
have a Karen this week.
That is awesome. It's been X amount of days since we filmed. I don't know why I don't want to disclose when we filmed the last podcast, but I just feel like
it's been a while though.
An air of mission. Actually, 2 people have tried to guess, and I was like, maybe. If you see me, I'll give you private information about the podcast, as our buddy Bosch over here knows. So, I've got a Karen that I've encountered twice, and she's from New York, and I somehow was able to run into her 2 different times. So, time 1, airplane. We're leaving LaGuardia. We flew into JFK. We wake up after the concert morning when Vinny and I were eating shawarma at 4 a.m., and I decided to eat a second shawarma and then go right to sleep. Great idea. No heartburn at all. So we wake up, plane delayed 2 hours. I'm like, back to sleep. Get going. Plane delayed like 10 more minutes. Vinny's getting nervous because he had tickets to see The Weeknd the next day in a box seat at Mercedes-Benz. So he went to like 2 bomb concerts in 48 hours.
Atlanta?
Yeah, in Atlanta.
Did you fly through Atlanta?
No, we just direct flight. I tried it. If I can direct flight, I direct flight.
From Savannah.
Shout out to my boy V, who travels for a living. He bought us tickets with his miles. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, because it allowed us to have more fun in New York. I bought that homeless guy some heroin. It was nice. So things do, and the busiest airspace in the world, things get delayed, and there's staff shortages. I didn't think about this, but I called him while we were on the tarmac for 2.5 hours. And he said, look, JFK, LaGuardia, Newark, 3 major airports. Then you've got Islip, Teterboro, all these smaller airports as well, sharing the same airspace. So takeoffs are very, pushing 10 is very complicated. And there was a storm south of us. So first thing delays us, the first mate or whatever, co-captain, was going to hit his hours overtime if we got delayed too long. So
I've gotten delayed on one like that.
Next guy's got to come in. Next guy comes and apologizes. Goes, look, we're going to get out here. Taxi out. We're going to be delayed a little bit, whatever. We're there about 45 minutes. People are getting a little restless. I'm not. I got nowhere to go.
But you're on the tarmac.
Yeah.
You're
and your daddy Clint packs airplane bottles, so I didn't give a shit. They weren't handing out snacks because I was in there just drinking.
Yeah, that's a life hack. You buy in the airport. You buy them.
I brought 6. Drank 4 on the way up, filled them up.
Yeah, because I used to spend $100 on 5 Tito's and sodas at those.
Then he spent more money on 4 beers than I did on all that. So we had this beautiful 56-year-old black woman. It's hard to tell black lady's age so gracefully. Miss Donna. She's sassy, but like the right kind of sassy. She's that Southern Atlanta sassy.
Are you calling her Miss Donna because you're a Southern boy?
We got her. Vinny got her
name
name when she made fun of me for having to go to the bathroom within 15 minutes of being on that plane. Because I have the bladder of a small child.
And she was like, Miss Donna sees you drinking all the mini bottles.
You tell that boy to wear his Depends next time. But she was great.
I love Miss Donna.
She was great. So we taxi out. We're waiting. Planes are taking off. People are getting a little anxious. Then all of a sudden, no plane's taking off. The guy comes on and goes, look, there's a storm south of here. We're 10th in line. We have an hour of fuel before we have to go back and get fuel. If we do that, we have to get back in line. So we have a time crunch. As things go, a Karen presents herself. 2 seats behind us. And she's got this Jersey accent that
like
I'm not
a
going to have
gift
to do.
from the Karen heaven.
I got a goddamn bachelorette party to go to. I'm the maid of honor. I'm playing all this. She's bitching. And at one stewardess, not at Miss Donna. She bitches at this other stewardess. And it's like, I want to know what's going on right now.
She knew not to try Miss Donna.
So she is getting into it. So the other lady goes, I'll be right back. Miss Donna comes in. And her tone, way down.
Miss Donna, the Karen Slayer.
Yes!
Karen Taker.
Karen Taker.
Instead of a caretaker, it's a Karen Taker.
She tombstone pile drived Karen pretty much. So Karen gets a little down because the sass of Miss Donna is good. Because I got up to go to the bathroom the second time.
Yeah.
And she was sitting in the jump seat in front of the bathroom. And I was like, hey, she said we could go. She goes, I know, honey, but it takes me a minute to get up, so just chill. And I was like, oh, do you want me to help you up? She goes, I don't need you on. She was fun. She loved me. She loved me and Vinny.
And the thing is, you trying to trip on a seasoned air hostess, it's like someone trying to heckle a comedian. The comedian is always going to win.
Dominate you.
So this Karen is trying to heckle Miss Donna. It ain't going to go well for you.
So Karen, and she's got a co-Karen over here that's jumped in with her. That's not with her, but she's like,
first mate Karen.
First mate Karen, yeah. Yeah, she had hit her hours too. First mate Karen. And so she's just like her hype man.
That was her intern.
So Miss Donna walks back away after calming her down.
I love Miss Donna so much.
Now, Karen and co-Karen goes, hey, there's other flights taking off. So OG Karen looks, her friend's flight, also going from LaGuardia to Savannah, is now taxiing on just the phone app. So OG Karen had gotten her, the trip was earlier in the day, but it got delayed. So she was going to go first to get there and set everything up, decorate the room with dicks or whatever. So she gets mad. They're taking off too. So she starts bitching loudly. I want to know what's going on. My friends are taking off right now. So Miss Donna comes back and goes, honey, look, it's going to say that, but look at our flight. It says that. She says, no, it says they're taking off now. She goes, they're not taking off. They don't jump us in line. She's like, this is a conspiracy. Something's going on here. Karen thinks that they're out to get Deltas.
That there's a cabal of people trying to stop her from getting to this stupid bachelorette party.
Look, if I had been in Savannah and I could control her, I would have kept her out of Savannah too. So she's complaining. She's a little bitchy, but Miss Donna goes way away. I'm calling my lawyer.
She's fired back
I'm going
up.
when I get to that front desk, and I'm like, because we thought we were going to go back to the terminal and get stuck there, and I'm like, Vinny, look, whatever it takes, I'm behind this lady for the rest of the damn day. Like, I want to be right next to Karen. I want everything she does in my ear because I want to see this.
The
he's like, I want to be
fountain
pissed
of
too.
content.
Yes.
Yeah. So
The
they
fountain
come.
of Karen.
They come through. They gave out some free beers. They're trying to appease us. And they had a pretty good beer selection. So I mean, I'm doubling up. And Vinny was a little. Usually it's Clint that's the rowdy one, and I'm over there just chilling. And Vinny's like, because he's got tickets to the weekend for free. So he's a little. As soon as that first cool sip of Tropicalia or whatever, he was like, you buddy, you're not yourself and you're sober.
Yeah. Because I've been stuck on a tarmac forever too. We missed an entire day of Red Rocks one time, but once you're in the
line,
in the queue,
and the thing was, they were like, if we don't take off in 30 minutes, my hours are up.
Yeah.
And then so his hours got up, whatever. So all you can do, literally bitching at someone or making a stink, nothing's gonna change anything.
Yeah. So Karen, starts raising more hell. All of a sudden, Miss Donna goes, I'm going to talk. I'll be right back. She's like, all I have the information to give me, and the cockpit's locked once they, start taxiing. So Miss Donna's just getting texts from the pilot, I guess. She walks back up the front, and pilot goes, everyone get in your seats. We can take off in 10 minutes. Get down. Everyone sit down now. So there's a mad scramble. So Karen, as they do, is like, yeah, I got him. This fucking C. Aaron, which is now the nerd for cunt Karen, is C. Aaron. Just going to go ahead. Hashtag C. Aaron. Instead of saying cunt, because I'm sorry.
Obelisk. What is it? Obligatory. What is it?
Octothorpe.
Octothorpe.
I knew that.
You're close.
Octothorpe.
Obelisk.
But she thinks her and co-Karen are like high-fiving.
This is a victory for them.
They have controlled the FAA from inside this airplane while looking at other flights.
Good for them.
Yeah, thank God for Karen, right? So we get up in the air, and this Clint likes to do, I'll go back here, go poke this Karen a little bit.
Ooh.
Hey, where are you going? What you doing? What's going on? You got a bachelorette party? You got a bag of dicks in the trunk? I'm being friendly to her, and I'm like, so where are your plans? Where are you going? So get a field. They're staying downtown. Here's where they got reservations. Because she has the whole itinerary. She's
Wait. They're staying downtown
Savannah, because it was a direct flight to Savannah. So they're staying in Savannah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes, direct flight. So Karen's coming to town. Karen's in town.
Shut up.
So I'm like, where are you going? Oh, you should go to the social club. My friend here is the assistant manager.
Yes.
Guess who wasn't a fan of that? I was like, he works on Fridays and Saturdays till late. So look, ask for Vinny.
Oh my!
If he's not around, ask for Greg. Greg loves bachelorette parties. Yeah. If you can't find either of them, Edgar will be at the door. Edgar, he lives for bachelorette parties.
Serious dick.
That's in descending order of who
God.
hates him the most. Edgar would punch me in the face if he encountered them, probably.
Yeah.
So, and I'm like, when are you
It's
going
amazing.
to Tybee? You going to the beach, right? She's like, yeah, we're going to go on Friday. I'm like, we're going to go on Friday. I wasn't going to burn you. You know who I was going to burn. I was like, oh, there's 12 of y'all? Ask for Mike. He's the best waiter they've got. Now, there's 2 points I did this. One, just to F with my friends. 2, then I can research what Karen did. Like I can say, hey, did you encounter this woman who I followed out of the airport videoing? So I know she.
You
I
can
see
see
looks
what
like.
your own butterfly effect on
Yeah.
the world is.
Exactly.
Hey,
Exactly.
You flap your fucking wings in Atlanta.
Is that your first episode?
Shits on everybody else's
But
day.
I
that way,
flapped at LaGuardia.
I set up to do my own research
Tsunami
later.
in Savannah.
So I'm following her out the plane, watching her sass on the phone, but she wasn't as sassy as I hoped.
She was probably calling her friends like, guess what I did?
Well, so we went around the storm. Her friends flew through the storm, I guess, on their plane, which I'm sure they made that happen. They were like, hey, we're going through the storm, because they control the FAA.
yeah, of
So
course.
they got there like 20 minutes after us. But so we're walking through the airport, and then I follow Karen. She doesn't really blow up anymore. I'm like, God, I wanted some
You
more.
keep doing this hand gesture like you
Oh,
were
I'm filming her. I am. I'll show you the footage in a minute. I am 5 feet behind her, just
You're
holding my phone like
So
this.
you were literally.
'Cause what's she
filming-
gonna do to me?
You were just you were just waiting. Like,
Yeah, I would film, nothing happened, delete, start filming again. Just Snapchat or whatever, or Instagram, just to have video of Karen. Because when you get the video evidence,
Preparation.
and look, all right, there's an older group. She's 45. She's the bad kind of fat, where she doesn't have tits or ass. She's just wide and grumpy. And so I'm like, well, I'll hear about Karen on this weekend. We'll go to Heckapoos on Sunday, and want to talk to Vinny. No, I won't. Friday, I'm at work. We're about to open up the shift. I take a little walk before the shift, kind of decompress. Right by the SunTrust Bank. I have on my full gear. I don't have my apron on, but I have everything else on. And I've got glasses on, thank God, 'cause I don't wear glasses on the air. I had sunglasses on the airplane. I see her. She's smoking a cigarette in my path. I go, and so I didn't tell her where I worked. I told her I worked at Garibaldi's, I think. So I didn't want her to come bother me, but you can't get in a circle at a bachelorette party. So I see her. I'm like, oh, shit. So I run past her real quick, and I sneak around a pillar and take like 7 pictures to try to get a good shot of her. Instead of, I was like, Vinny, I found her. He's like, oh, my God, that's her. So I saw her in the wild.
wow. How
Like,
many
what-
people was she with?
Just 3 then. She was, you know what she was doing? You know what she was doing, right? Complaining about the fucking flight. Because that's what she did all weekend.
Of course, yeah. Well, and she was like, yeah, this flight tried to F me over, but once I talked to Miss Donna, everything got straightened out.
I made them do that.
And we took right off.
Yeah. She was so happy with herself. And I was like,
And a wild Karen took down the FAA.
A wild Karen appears. There's a Karen in the chat. Speaking of flying,
Speaking of Karens, there's going to be one on the Patreon that we want. It's a little hot Karen. It's a hot local Karen. We don't want to get too much into it, but yeah.
yeah, stay tuned for the Patreon if you want to hear that.
See Aaron, really.
Quickly, so when's the last time you think we sent a manned flight?
I thought you were going to say Karen got laid. It was like 3 years.
Manned flight to the moon.
It was 1976, 78.
69. It was
69, yeah.
nearly 50 years ago with
That
the
was
original
the first time.
Last time.
and the last time.
No, we went more than once.
Nope.
Have you heard of Apollo 11? 3 times.
Oh, well, I thought Artemis 1
Nope.
was going to be the first manned
Remember Apollo
flight.
11 the movie? Remember they went to the moon? That wasn't the first trip, buddy.
Didn't they crash?
Yeah, on the way back.
Oh, okay.
Remember they slingshotted around? There was a movie with.
Maybe
like,
I should have done
Tom
my own
Cruise.
research before.
Yeah, you really came. You really came. Yeah, there's 2 nerds in the room. You came.
Actually, it was December 19th, 1972. The
I was off
year
by a few
I
years.
was born.
It's 50 years. I said 50 years.
Yeah, you did say 50.
Bro's not
'Cause
50.
I am 50.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Oh, we wish you had your birthday. You weren't here because you didn't want to get COVID, pussy.
I've
Why are you
had it.
afraid
I
of
didn't
COVID?
like it.
No,
Don't recommend it.
you don't get a leg up on COVID this time.
Hey!
Sorry, I was a cool
So
joke.
my lingering,
Like how you got right off the moon real quick there. You're like,
my lingering symptoms are I'm still a little bit dyslexic. Like there's still extra letters and things that I read, not things that I write. And my head is like a snow globe. If I turn
It's
my
the
head
brain fog.
to the left, no, it feels like there's water in my ear and I go deaf.
Ooh.
I started talking real fast when I got it. What happened?
I don't think that was from.
I don't think that's
I don't think that was from. I don't
So
think that was from.
day 2 of New York, walking around just sweating in the city. Like, at one moment, I was like, it's gone completely.
That's
like
a song. Sweating in the city.
Sweating in the city. Sweating in the titties.
And before we get to the end and the Patreon, the dog walk
Okay, so
for your
last week
neighbor.
we
'cause
discussed
this is
my
this very
Darren,
interesting
Karen
story to
neighbors,
me, yeah.
the neighbor errands. So Saturday night,
errands.
I get off work late, like 12:30, get home, walk my dog as I do. There's some kind of kerfuffle going on at the fireman's house. I just hear it. I'm like, oh, okay. I always turn my headphones off when I walk by
Did
there.
we talk about the last thing of your neighbor's house on the main podcast? Or
Yeah, we did about the
okay,
Darren.
so well, just for a refresher,
You got Karen Fogg.
yeah, you have a neighbor who's
I
a
have neighborhood
yeah.
fireman, who's
and
got
they
beef with other
normally
neighbors.
fight with the neighbor.
Yeah, but there's also a lot of infighting in that home. After the
Right,
neighbor
yeah.
fight, then the daughter
It
fight.
spills over.
Yeah. There's a lot of. If it weren't for those two people in the neighborhood, this would be like the nicest part of Battery Point. Well, except for the cul-de-sac around the corner. But anyways, I know it's like.
Do they cut their grass?
It's like a
though?
polished turd. Both. You think the fireman doesn't cut his grass or the redneck?
Right.
But the redneck's got like crappy lawn. It's like half his lawn is dollar weed. Anyways, I walk by, hear a little noise, whatever.
Lawn shaming. Jesus,
I
didn't
do
know
lawn
that.
shame because my lawn looks tight.
Hey, I take care of my shit. I feel you.
So I walk by.
What's
and
a
I'm-
lawn?
And I'm coming right. He's got a dirt
He's
lawn.
got a dirt path.
I come back around, a little louder than it was. So I'm like, well, whatever. I'll turn the TV down low, monitor the situation. I
As you do.
start hearing some noise, and I'm like, you know what? I need a not a bird's eye view. I need a first person view of this. I need to get close to this. Dewey, come on, buddy. And he's like, what? Like, what are we doing? We just walked a mile and a half, and he's like, oh, okay. So I like get him, and usually I like throw the leash across the room, make him go get it, bring it to me.
I was gonna say. So if you don't know, Dooley is Clint's dog.
Sorry, Dewey's my dog.
And he had already been on a walk.
Yeah, and like this was his second like long walk of the day.
So now Dooley's basically your phone. Whenever you're using the bathroom at hotels, you just pop the phone up. Now,
Yeah.
if you want to go see what's happening in the neighborhood,
I need a
you
distraction.
you pop a leash on Dooley, and you're like,
Dooley's-
"Hey,
and
I'm
usually
walking my dog."
The dog is not. I train my dog well. He doesn't walk ahead of me, but he's with me or a little ahead of me. He's like, hey man, remember when we were just chilling? So I start walking by, and because I got the dog, I'm not afraid to get close to people because he's a big ass dog. And so I have a headphone in, but it's not on. And I'm literally just going to see what's going on. There's now an SUV outside the house. The black guy that chased the fireman back in the house before is bigger than I thought. Also, when I got next to him, he's about my height. He's putting someone in the back seat to lay on a pillow. I believe it was the mom or the older daughter. But when he's walking them out the house, they are effed up. And not just drunk, like they got beat up. Whoever it was got roughed up. So he's like laying them down in the back of the car, and one of the kids is in the front seat, like the 8-year-old kid's in the front seat.
Because when you had texted me that the other night, and you said you had walked by the SUV, I thought it was the SUV from the last story, which was like the police captain.
Yeah, that would have been great.
And I was like, you got that close to the police captain's
With the-
SUV?
I don't care. But like, so I walk by, they get her in the car, and so then I'm like, I don't want to walk all the way around again. So I'm like, how do I get back to my house? So I literally was like, you know what? I don't care how they feel about me. Just walked down, did a loop, came right back. Just stared at him as I walked back by. I was like, okay. And like, it was kind of quiet then, but she was assed out in the back seat.
So no police got called though?
No, I think old firefighter Jimmy gave her that shadow boxing to the face.
Damn, son.
I know. Well, his mom had a mouth. She's an ignoramus.
I remember.
Why he called her. She called him an ignoramus. She's like, I don't know what that means. Don't use words I don't know.
I don't know what
I
that
hope
word.
that's. I remember the daughter said she would f her mom up. So maybe the daughter took it to her. Maybe they tag teamed her. I don't know. Maybe she got Karen tombstoned. The tombstone. All right, so
Well, I'm
Karen,
glad you
let's-
live in such a nice neighborhood.
Guys, please follow and subscribe our Patreon. I'm about to get a little spicy.
Also, our new YouTube channel, From Behind the Barcast, on YouTube. If you don't follow our socials already, please follow them.
And Twitter, Behind the Barcast, we're up to 21 followers now.
Look at us, man.
I'll tweet one day.
Dominating. All right,
One day.
let's get the F count going
Finally.
here.
Okay, look. Last week, Paxton won 3-0. Maybe. I don't know. I couldn't keep track of it.
You
Don't do it by
got
myself.
smoked today.
Yeah, you did.
You got smoked.
No, I win if I have the lowest.
4, 1, 3.
Wow.
We have a new champion.
Look how the turns have tabled.
Oh my God!
Look how
You
the
send him to New
tombstone-
York one fucking time.
Hey, this
Hey,
fucking guy.
We gotta tell
this
you,
fucking guy.
I'm fucking walking here.
Hey,
Let's get this plane off
I
the
didn't hear a
tarmac.
lot of that. Didn't hear a lot of that. You want that.
You walked it. You're like,
But I tell you what, next week, guys, I've got some more spicy and scary New York stories.
yeah, no.
One involving a lot of body sweat and fear. I wanted to hold things hand. Yeah.
more than normal.
Find us on Patreon. It's about to get fun.
And thank you guys for listening. We love you.
Josh will come by hanging out. He'll be on the Patreon. We'll just hanging out in the background.
We'll get him a mic for the
Stop talking so much. It'll be great. Love you guys.
Love you guys. You really killed it on this.